Welcome to episode 11 of 25 for 2025, a series where I attempt to complete my goal of reading these 25 books in 2025. I've now read 13 of the 25 books and I have 1 DNF. How this challenge works, I will pull a book from this jar, then I will have to acquire the book, whether it's from my bookshelf, my Kindle, or you could go book shopping. Once I've acquired the book, I will then see the total number of pages that book has, and I will ask Siri to pick a number between 1 and the total number of pages in that book, and depending on the number she picks is the total number of pages I have to read in this video. So without further ado, let's pick our 13th book. I really enjoyed our last book that we picked. Actually, one of the best reads I've had probably this entire year in terms of pacing and excitement. So I hope our next book lives up to the expectation. Okay, I felt this one and I really wanted to grab this. So hopefully this was a good choice to grab. I feel like it's like, is it Binding 13? I feel like I saw a dark cover. Ooh, oh my gosh. This is funny because book has been in the back of my mind for a little while now. So we pulled Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. However, Stephanie Garber has written 2 trilogies and they're kind of interconnected. So I looked up a video about reading order, and the first book that was recommended for reading is actually in the Carval trilogy. So I'm not going to be reading Once Upon a Broken Heart. I will actually be reading Carval by Stephanie Garber, and that is one I will have to go buy. I'm going to put a screenshot of how I'm going to read this series just so you guys know. So I'm going to look up real quick online how many pages that book has. According to Google, Carval has 448 total pages. So now let's ask Siri to pick a number between 1 and 448. She better be nice to me this time. Pick a number between 1 and 448. 173. So Siri picked 173 pages for me to read for this video. Without further ado, let's go buy our book. Hi guys, so I have made it to page 173 and I am really loving this book. So to start, the background of Carval, or what this book is about, this follows Scarlett and her sister Tella. End up getting an invite to Carval, which is this big grand game, a lot of magic involved, and it's hosted by Legend. So they end up going with the help of this sailor. When they get to the island, Tella is kidnapped and she becomes part of the game. So Scarlett then has 5 nights to basically play the game and try and solve where her sister went. So that is where I'm at so far. I'm really loving the setting of this book, the magical themes of it all, and just the world that Stephanie Garber is painting for us. I really love the pacing of this. I did read a good chunk of this book last night and I feel like I could have sat and just binged the whole thing. I'm not bored while reading it. It's just a really fun book because you have the Carval game that's happening. You have clues and like riddles and mysteries that Scarlett is trying to solve. And then we also have like some romance. I'm really loving our main characters. I love Scarlett. At times she could be a little stubborn and set in her ways. There's also another character in this book that I'm very much loving. The dynamic between them and Scarlett is like one of my favorite things ever. But I was unsure if I was able to even mention this character's name or their presence at all in the book because it's not really mentioned in the summary of it when you look it up. So I want to Google just to see if their name was mentioned anywhere. You know how Google has that AI feature now? It basically spoiled who that character was and their connection to everything. I definitely tried to ignore it and act like I didn't read the spoiler, but it's in my brain now. So I'm very sad about that. So do not go on Google. If you're curious about anything of this book, do not go on Google because you're going to spoil something for yourself. If you're curious to see what I end up rating this and my final thoughts and feelings of this book, come back to part 2.